Serious question. Am I allowed to celebrate Black love? So I have a client that I started working with her end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And about 2 weeks after we stopped working together, she messaged me, said that she had gone on a date with this guy and that she had a really great feeling about him. So we talked about it a little bit. I said, yeah, I agree with you. I think that this sounds like it really has a lot of potential. Keep me posted. So, a couple of days ago, she messaged me to tell me that she is engaged to that guy. And I messaged her back. My immediate response was, yay, Black love, congratulations. And after I sent that message, I started thinking about, can I celebrate Black love? So, here's the thing. Um, my parents have been together for 40 years, and Black love is the reason why I exist. As you can see, I'm Black. Both my parents are Black. And, my brother is married to a Black woman. My sister is married to a Black man. I absolutely love Black love. The thing is that it just so happens that it's not my love story. So I am married. My husband is not a Black man. He is Hispanic. And, I've never had a problem with that. So from the very beginning, when I first started dating in like high school, I never had a racial preference. So I dated men who were Black, I dated men who were white, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. My type was good looking, right? And that comes in all races. So I never really had these preferences when I was dating. At the same time, though, there was a small part of me that kind of always assumed I would end up marrying a Black man because that's what I was surrounded by, right? Again, I mentioned my parents have been married for 40 years. My brother is 10 years older than me. My sister's 12 years older than me. So they've been married for quite a while. So I've seen, their marriages. And then also, a lot of my friends growing up. I grew up with a fair number of Black friends who were raised in two-parent households, and, both their parents were Black, so I was surrounded by Black couples growing up. This is what I saw. This was very normalized for me. And when I ended up, my husband and I got engaged and everything, my thought about it was like, "Oh, that's kinda interesting," I ended up marrying someone who, is not Black, but again, love is love, and I didn't have a preference in dating, so it really wasn't that shocking. Like, I thought it was interesting, but not shocked by it. Nowadays, there is so much talk about whether or not Black love still exists, whether or not it should exist, whether or not Black women should consider expanding their options or even, not dating Black men at all and divesting completely and only dating outside of their race. And it's funny, something that just a few years ago I thought was just kind of interesting has now become a much larger topic. If you look at data from the Pew Research Center, you will see that in general, interracial marriage is on the rise. And among that, Black people, men and women, are among the fastest growing group of people dating outside of their race. And Black women, the while Black men are way more likely than Black women, like 3 times more likely than Black women to date and marry outside of their race, the rate in which Black women are choosing to be in interracial, intercultural marriages is increasing at a faster rate. So it's only a matter of time before both genders catch up with each other. So, here I find myself in the midst of these discussions are happening. There are more women expanding their options. For me as a dating coach, the majority of my clients are Black women like me. And, I find it interesting because I have been coaching at this point now for about 4 or 5 years. And when I first started coaching women, women who were other races, so my clients who were white, who were Asian, who were Latina, you know, for the most part, they didn't really seem to have much of a racial preference when it came to dating. Um, they were willing to date whoever, whereas a lot of the Black women that I was coaching when I first started were very adamant about they only want to be with Black men. They're not interested in expanding their pool beyond Black men. Nowadays, it is almost the complete opposite as far as at least the clients that I attract. I don't post about my husband a lot because my husband is very private and I respect that privacy. But when I do post a picture of him on social media, I tend to get a lot of response from Black women asking me how I navigated interracial dating, how I navigate an interracial marriage now, and also, inquiring about working with me as they navigate that. And as I see this increase happening, and as I at the same time see talk about Black love, I'm recording this in February, the month of Valentine's Day. So I've seen so many beautiful Black couples on my timeline. It makes me wonder, like, okay, is it hypocritical of me to be like, yay, Black love? I love Black love. I celebrate Black love. And my love story is not a Black love story. Um, so I still don't have the answer to that. But here is what I do know. I always tell my clients to be very intentional about where they restrict their options and where they expand their options. So when I work with women, the first thing that we do is work on a love list. What is it that you want in a partner? And you should definitely have your standards and your boundaries like kind of locked in as you start dating. So, yes, there is some restricting your options in the sense of you won't date anyone who's not financially stable, or you may have standards about, say, education requirements or things like that. At the same time, dating is a numbers game. So, as much as you can expand your pool within reason, within your standards and boundaries, the better the chances are for you to find that purpose partner, that person who is going to love and cherish you. So, with that being said, I often encourage all of my clients, not just Black women, but everyone to consider expanding your pool as far as race goes, to expand your pool as far as maybe sometimes age. I often deal with a lot of clients who are like, I only want to date someone who's like maybe 2 or 3 years older than me, or my age, 2 or 3 years older. And I'm like, that's a very narrow range. You may want to consider a few years older than that. And then for my clients who are in their 20s, I typically don't recommend dating younger than themselves, but when I have clients who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, yes, I often recommend that they look at men who are younger than them as well as the ones who are their age and who are older. Expanding the pool as far as, not every man you're going to meet who's a good man is going to be over 6 feet tall. Um, Even if you want someone who's taller than you, there are a lot of great men out there who are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" that you should consider. So, characteristics like that, often the more superficial appearance ones, I often tell my clients that they should expand their pool on that. So when it comes to race, it's going to be no different. Again, when I started dating, I had no racial preference. So I can tell you from experience, there are a-holes in every race, and there are really great men in every race. And I would hate for my clients to be restrictive and to miss out on someone who could be really good for them because of skin color. So, I think the answer is both. I love Black love. Again, it's why I'm here. And I definitely admire my parents' marriage. So I'm always going to celebrate that. At the same time, we are in a world that is changing, and we are in a world that is expanding. And social media makes it easier for you to meet people who come from a different cultural background, different racial background, different socioeconomic background than the one that you grew up in. I think we should take advantage of that. I think we should celebrate that. If we're truly celebrating diversity and the specialness of all people, then part of that is expanding our social circles. And that means expanding who we have relationships with, friendships, dating, otherwise. So let me know what you think.